asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best crypto asset? Bitcoin's the best crypto asset. Which one's the best? 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 What's the second best?
This is Discover Crypto. Every day on this channel, we teach you how to make money with Bitcoin. I'm your host, DZ, and we have a very special episode today. I'm joined by Josh and TJ, and we got to talk about the ceasefire happening in Israel and Iran, and the alts are exploding in response, and we're going to look at three in particular. But Josh, how are you doing today?
Doing fantastic. Had a wonderful call-in show with a lot of Discover community last night. That was really, really fun, but markets feeling good. We're sticking at $105,000 now. It looks like we're actually breaking out of a bullish pennant as we speak here. And then even when you zoom out a little bit further, we go out to a larger time frame. It's just a mad V-shaped recovery here on the 2-hour time frame, potentially even a little reverse head and shoulder action. So yeah, I mean, so much for World War III. It looks like World War III has ended. You have the, of course, oil stocks, or not oil stocks, but just oil crashing. I mean, oil looks like a meme coin. It has been rugged here in the last 24 hours. So good signs here, a lot of positive traction for the upside in the market. And we got some breaking news we'll be covering with a secret dinner from O'Keefe with a date with one of the feds. And what that Fed says about Jerome Powell, chat, man, stay tuned. It is actually insane that they're allowed to do this. So
now, Josh, you brought up the bull flag pennant on Bitcoin. We're looking at the 1-hour chart here. I want to go ahead and give a little price prediction here to see how this plays out in the larger parallel channel that Bitcoin is floating within. So this is the larger parallel channel. We go back to the 1 hour. You can see a little bit of a bull flag pennant. So let's go ahead and run some numbers. If I get the drum roll, please, from the chat. All right, so we're not going to do the whole thing. We'll just kind of do it like that. And then from the breakout, let's make sure we're not on a log chart. We are on regular. Gives us a target of $112,000 Bitcoin. So look at that. Perfectly coinciding with the previous all-time high. Josh, I'm liking what I'm seeing here.
yeah, it is looking good. Right back in the middle of that channel. It'd be interesting to follow the ETH BTC chart. But yeah, we're still not just out of the woods yet, but everything's looking absolutely strong here for July. And honestly, what we'll be looking for here is now the Fed's decisions on the July rate cut, which is now those odds are starting to go extremely higher.
And we do see Powell is speaking in front of the House. It's going to be it's going to be a little bit boring, more of a boring speech, but Josh is probably going to be hitting refresh and will give you all the salient takeaways. I want to use the SAT word there.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at the rest of the crypto market. Bitcoin is pumping, but not as much as the altcoins here. Bitcoin is up 3.6%, but ETH up 6.7%, XRP up 8%, almost 10%, Solana up 7.3%, Dogecoin up 6%, Cardano up 6.6%, and SWI kind of mirroring the Say pump here. And we're going to look at that when we look at the biggest gainers. Say is now up 34%. It was even higher. It was in the 40s for a short period. SPX 6900. Stevo was screaming to buy this yesterday. It is up 27%. And Virtuals with a nice pump as well. Injective. Fartcoin up 17%. Jupiter is up. Stacks is up. Arbitrum. I mean, you look at it. Ondo, man. Ondo is up 14%. Aave is up. Chainlink is up. All the strong alts are up, and they're all up double digits.
Yeah, go back to that top 5 again real quick, because you guys have heard us talk about this a lot, but this is interesting. Anytime there's big volatility days, whether it's big swings to the upside or downside, I like to look at which one's moving the fastest and look for, and do this all the time with big dips, small dips, whatever it is, and just kind of keep a mental note of what you see up there. So obviously, the obvious one that we've seen up here a ton recently is Fartcoin, right? Fartcoin's been up here like almost all three, Fartcoin, Virtuals, and SPX, all in that meme coin kind of category. They have been up towards the top of this a lot more, I would say, than Injective and Say have been recently, and Jupiter. Now, not saying those aren't going to be potential. All of them could be potential top performers for this alt season. But noticing the ones that are there the most, like SPX 6900, that's when it's easy to know, like you were saying, Steve-O was talking about, like, hey, this is a buy on this news. It probably got crushed on the downside too, SPX and Fart. on the downside of the war going on. You get in on those, you ride that bounce back up, and it's sometimes it's a very easy way to pick winners.
Yeah, we got the chat screaming out for Arrow as well. Let's see
Arrow's
what kind of
been
Arrow
crushing
move.
it,
We got 14%.
Yeah.
Or Arrow Bud, the basketball playing dog, that is up 26%.
Classic.
And I think Snake was actually leading the meme coins at one point, and
Look at
yeah, it
that.
is up 21%. I think it was out of the top 20, maybe 30 meme coins that had the biggest gain there. So Snake with the huge pump as well. And that's actually one of the last few coins I bought. I bought Chainlink and Snake. Did not buy during the Pico bottom there. Did you guys execute any trades during the Pico bottom? I think I was just away. It was like late at night, early morning. Didn't have my buy orders set. But what would you put a buy order on? Would you still buy Ondo, Josh?
I mean, if you caught the bottom over the weekend, that would have been insane. I mean, there was a lot of fear, but I was out with it was my girl's birthday, so I was out late night that night. But yesterday we executed some good, or not yesterday, 2 days ago we executed some ETH trades, picked up some nice scalps, some nice longs there in the Discord. And then yesterday we started the $1,000 and $10,000 challenge. I'll be in the Discord. But we actually got stopped out on the first trade there, and we're gonna be waiting for our actual next entry point here. But we'll be covering that here today as well in the Discord, and this will be the 4th time we're doing it. So I've done it 3 other times, and this will be the 4th time we're going to complete it together.
What asset do you buy on the dip? For me, it was Chainlink. I got a little Cardano exposure, and I've been eyeing some more Tesla. So Link and Tesla, kind of you see a crazy crash, this is where I'm putting my money. I don't know if you got any suggestions, TJ.
I mean, for me right now, it's been a lot of the 3 I've been accumulating the most recently. It's Bitcoin, it's Aave, it's Aerodrome. Those are the ones I'm buying a ton, have been most of this year. Part of why I was out this past week was doing a pretty significant real estate deal. So getting some of these deals done. And then when that money comes in, it's going basically into Bitcoin, Arrow, or Aave. And then I might sometimes take it into some other areas, but Aave's been crushing it for me. Arrow's been crushing it for me. You guys know I keep talking about it over and over on this channel. I'm a big believer in where DeFi is going over the next decade. Truly believe it's going to merge with finance. You know, it might be a little bit boring, but we really are going to just be a finance channel where we talk about how to manage wealth and finances and investments into the future. So,
all right, we got the Airbud community stepping up. I actually remember this when the Base ecosystem, all the Base memes were printing. Base is the meme coin that helps animals. And you see that semi-often with meme coins. They'll donate to dog shelters, no-kill shelters and stuff. And that's a lot better than doing nothing.
Well, and speaking of no-kill shelters, while I was gone, by the way, I did miss you guys. Missed you, Disco fam. I felt like I was gone for 3 days, and you guys ran an entire cycle.
This is a crazy segue. Speaking of no-kill shelters.
Well, speaking of no-kill shelters, we never covered the ceasefire. That's what I was going to say. So, yeah, that was a crazy segue, but we're going to Trump's comments.
Well, we got the Trump video.
Yeah,
I don't know if we get that
last
fired up, ready to play here, but this is making the rounds. Everybody's talking about this clip right here. It's 9 seconds.
Fighting so long and so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Do you understand that?
Yeah, a little irritated there.
Yeah, sounds not happy with anybody, but specifically Israel.
I would say thumbs up, thumbs down. This particular point, I'll give it the thumbs up. Spoke of strength to me. I don't know. You guys, you like or dislike?
President of the
cheers
US
or cheers?
People not like that.
Some would say it lacks the decorum of the presidential cabinet.
The last one was talking about hairy legs. But what
Josh is referring to Joe Biden in South Carolina in 2020.
He's literally sniffing kids' heads. You guys are worried about the F word? Yeah. That's crazy, dude.
I know. I don't feel bad if it slips out and I say it here every once in a while. It's like, well, hey, the president of the United States is saying it. I can say it on this channel. So
the kids, they would touch my leg hair.
But is it over? You guys think it's officially done? No more conflict as far as markets go?
I am leaning like 60-40. No, but I mean, by no means do I think we're out of the woods.
I think
almost 40-60.
Yeah, I think Iran and Israel will shush up. I think Qatar. Nobody wants that, especially with like the Strait of Hormuz. It never made sense. You know, like even China was like, "Yo, like we need to pause these ceasefire," because even though that controls one out of 5 barrels of oil goes through the Strait of Hormuz, and it would cause inflation. It would hurt their partners more than it would hurt the actual U.S. So I think there's a lot that's going here from a global level. If you're just looking from that macro perspective between Russia, China, and the U.S. So it looks like it's happening. I mean, I haven't seen any bombs go off here in the last now since the ceasefire really went through. So we'll see if they actually hold their standard. But the other thing that was interesting was just watching Iran go from shooting like 100 rockets a day down to 3 or whatever it was. Right? They just they were hit pretty hard. So I think only time will tell here, like you said.
I think both countries may have slightly violated the ceasefire, but I think their excuse was it was one of the long fuses, like in Looney Tunes, and it was already lit. They're like, I can't do anything. It's in the fog of war. You just got to wait for.
Well, what do you guys like? What's
settle?
Like if Bibi continues to bomb, I mean, we're gonna have to defund them.
Yeah, that's why I don't think. I think
I wish
it's basically escalated. They've gotten as much as they can get out of it. I do think, they're going to print more money like they always do. They've used this to create the trade, the commodities attention on oil like they always do. But for the most part, I think it's going to end. Like that was it. The markets priced it in, reacted quickly. Quick reaction here to the price. I think the fact that we didn't. We barely dipped below 100K. I couldn't be more happy with the way Bitcoin responded and held up during this. And again, it's just every time something like this happens, it becomes another endorsement and advertisement for Bitcoin rather than against it. So to me, I think very, very positive. Don't think we're going to see this. We'll see some lingering stuff maybe happen out of this, but nothing. I don't think we're going to be floating into World War III or anything like that. But
and that's my bad, Chad. I was up late last night with you guys covering the ceasefire. So yeah, they did break it this morning. I didn't even see this.
Oh, you didn't see the clip? Yeah. Both parties broke it this morning.
We were up till I don't even know, like 10 o'clock last night covering it. So this is interesting. Yeah, no, I hadn't seen this yet. I'm gonna have to cover this today in the afternoon as well.
Well, if you go back to Nakba 47, you go back to the Egyptian War in 68. It's going to be long simmering tension, and it probably isn't going to go away quickly. So that's just kind of my long range assessment there.
And to bring my what I was going to wrap it up with is either way, Bitcoin is going to go up. Why I love that we do what we do is either way, when the world is chaotic and crazy, it feels good to be holding Bitcoin. They're going to be printing a ton of money. And regardless of what happens with the U.S. government, they've made it very clear next year they're printing more money, which means Bitcoin goes up again. So I think my new theory is I think the 4-year cycle is essentially over, and we're just going to slowly stair step and consolidate for a very long. Like we'll jump up to 125. We'll trade between 112 and 125 for a while. Then we'll jump up to 140. Then we'll trade between 125 and 140 for a while, and then jump up again. I think we're about ready to start that phase. I'm excited for it.
David Fay, I would say volumes of blackmail is what they bring to the table. And a shout out to all the people jumping back into the live streams. If you've been away, Green Day, we see you out there. I say we move fresh and move to Mars. Elon was right. Why we keep betting against this guy. Let's talk about the altcoins here, everybody. Yes, I'm saying Cardano spiked. Steve-O. I know Say pumped. I know SPX pumped more. We covered that already. But ETH is pumping, Solana is pumping, and Cardano pumping. After Trump claims to broker the Israeli-Iranian ceasefire. I don't know if you guys have seen the clips before it was announced by these two countries, but it had been announced by Trump. A lot of the pundits were saying, I don't know what he's talking about. And then you could kind of see their face change as the news was reported to them. But Trump announced the ceasefire between these two countries, leading to a rally in the major cryptocurrencies. Those three alts surged around 7% as the trading volumes rebounded after a very volatile weekend there. Now, if I roll to here, the bounce followed a wave of macro relief. Brent also fell 1.8%. We covered that in the beginning of the show. And the S&P futures turned positive, even as the ceasefire lacked formal confirmation from either government. This is from Fan here. We think the market will soon normalize and move on from the latest geopolitical episode. This is Augustine Fan, head of Signal Plus. But we're more worried about a bigger shakeout to stop out recent long. So if we see any kind of volatility, any red candles, just blame the greedy perpetual traders. I'm talking about you, James Wynn. It's all your fault. But now let's go to the three altcoins. And there's 3 lines I wanted to put onto your radar. So we're going to look at ETH. We're going to look at Solana. We're going to look at Cardano. All of these charts are priced in Bitcoin, not priced in dollars. The yellow line is where we're at right now. Looks like the market moves slightly here. You can see the green dotted line if you got the sharp eyes. But look at this level. You can see it was the first last stop of support before this support. But if we go back to the previous cycle, look at that, TJ. Look at that, Josh. One of the last rebound zones, one of the last blast off ramps before we went into true alt season. And you could kind of see maybe we're seeing something similar right here where we fell below, came down and retested. And not only that, if you go to the cycle before that, 2017 cycle, You can also see ETH just came down to this exact inflection point
Mm.
before bouncing and creating a nicer alt season. And then one last thing you can see was also used as resistance in 2016. So very, very important line in the sand when it comes to ETH Bitcoin. Now let's go to Solana Bitcoin. I've done videos on Solana Bitcoin. It really likes hanging out in these 10,000 Satoshi areas. Put on the weekly so you can kind of see, bounce along in that range, comes back down. You know, you kind of see this is between 5,000 and 10,000 bouncing along, just likes bouncing along in these little ranges. And so what is the next move for Solana? Let's go back and check this area once again. One, we can see a little bullish divergences on the daily RSI. That's going to be good news here. But if we go back, well, you look at that. We went into alt season, came down and retested this exact zone that we're at right now. And then if you go back, it was also kind of one of the cooldown periods used as resistance. Now for the last and final coin, Cardano. I look at this chart a lot. Also a very important level. Also a very important line in the sand. We look how strong the support was. We came back down, tested it. Is this going to be the bounce? I'm predicting it's going to be the bounce. Just when you look at the history of this area, very, very important zone for Cardano. So if it doesn't hold the line, I mean, we're coming back down to maybe the previous area near 400 Satoshis. So I wouldn't be surprised to see 400 sats in Cardano's future. Right now, it's trading around 555. But it looks like we're going to be heading to, let's say, close to 1,000 by the end of the year. So that's my assessment on the three altcoins. Josh, I don't know what your thoughts are, TJ.
No, those look really good. I mean, I still think, and I'm monitoring right now the Powell speech. I see Aaron in the chat saying that he just was talking about potentially cutting 50 basis points in September.
Yeah,
Maybe
I'm
not.
pulling up right now.
Yeah, I've got it running.
Let's look at Bitcoin on the 1 minute.
Well, yeah, while you're
Just kinda
pulling that
see.
up, I do think what you just showed, DZ, lines up perfectly with what we've been talking about for a summer, fall alt season. I mean, I still think we're going to see, whether they do the cut in July or push it all the way to September, if we get a 50 basis point rate cut this year, which I think we will, and whether it's July or September, or 25 in July and another 25 in September, that is going to send things absolutely rocketing. And it's what people aren't prepared for. People are going to get shaken out right before that happens. I can feel it. I can feel market participants getting tired, retail's getting tired and worn out. And that's when the big breakthrough is is coming. So I still think summer, fall, don't walk away. Don't be selling right before the biggest breakout of all time. And if Powell does, they cut these rates, and they will come. They can only hold them for so long. That's when altcoins will run, and that ETH BTC pair will do exactly what you just mentioned. Now, still want to be holding Bitcoin through this whole time, but I've got something here. We've been obviously covering and watching this Bitcoin dominance for quite some time. Here it is. Here's the Bitcoin dominance chart. It's touched 70 several times in the past. I had said we'd get over 65, that I didn't think we'd get all the way to 70 this time. We've touched 67, I think, in different places. Maybe we haven't quite gotten to 68, but this range here, this is, look from the bottom all the way up. That's what you see. And then this right here, 2021, it just dropped off a cliff in a couple months, and Bitcoin dominance completely drops off, and that's when you get all those crazy nice altcoin gains.
That's when you get the double-digit gains that didn't come off after a double-digit decline.
Exactly.
The next day.
Exactly.
You get multiple double-digit gain days in a row. Josh, now someone pointed out the DXY is hitting a 10-year trend line. This is the strength of the dollar relative to a basket of other currencies. And that person was right. This is a trend line going all the way back to even longer. This is technically going back to 2011. So we're looking at almost a 15-year trend line here. DXY at a very, very important
moment. That's not good. We needed to go below that.
Yeah. A breakdown is not going to, I mean, then we're coming down. So as the dollar gets stronger, it's harder for Bitcoin to pump. As the dollar gets weaker, it's easier for Bitcoin to pump. So this dump equals Bitcoin pump and vice versa there.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So we got some more news. So we played the video there. We talked about the altcoins. We are pretty bullish on this, but there is some bad news as well. I'm sorry. No, this is great news. Trump administration mulls debanking executive order. This is bad news for the banks, if anything, here. And so President Trump is reportedly considering an EO aimed at preventing banks from cutting off services to politically unfavorable industries, including cryptocurrency firms. But this is an anonymous source from the Wall Street Journal. So, who knows? This move would come in response to allegations that banks denied services to crypto entrepreneurs as part of Operation Choke Point 2.0. At least 30 founders were denied access to banking services during the administration of President Joe Biden. Now, JP Morgan, Citigroup, Wells Fargo, and other major U.S. banks have met with state officials to defend against allegations that they refuse to serve some of these industries, gun manufacturers, fossil fuel extraction industries, crypto industries, etc. Reminder, fossil fuel is a psyop. It's actually hydrocarbons. Now, if we look here, it's premature to say that debanking is over, is warning Caitlin Long. Trump won't have the ability to appoint a new Fed governor until January. Therefore, you can see the breadcrumbs leading to a potentially big fight. Because if these federal agencies, the OCC and the FDIC, overturn their crypto guidance, but the Federal Reserve does not, where does that leave us? So just because we have one federal agency turn pro-crypto doesn't mean that everybody in the federal government is turning pro-crypto. So we might see some fighting in the future, according to Caitlin Long.
Troy asking, did we already cover the XRP Night ADA airdrop? Did you guys talk about that at all?
So we did a short on it, and we covered it yesterday. We
did.
Talked about the breakdown, and so if you go to our shorts, you'll see a breakdown. It's 50% is going to Cardano, 30% is going to Bitcoin, and then the remaining 20% is going to BNB, XRP, Solana, and I'm HR,
Brave, Bowser,
Brave. I think that's all of them.
Yeah, that should be it.
Might have hit them all there. Said that.
Yeah, I think there's 8. There's definitely 8 chains. But yeah, we keep covering it pretty much every single day, guys. There's going to be a massive airdrop. The snapshot has already taken place.
Yeah, well, I'll give you some more
Charles
details.
Hoskinson did announce that, I think, yesterday, that the snapshot has already occurred. So you'll be getting a significant airdrop here sometime towards the end.
Do you guys want a more detailed breakdown? What chains, what the snapshot is, the dollar amount, what do you need to hold? Because there are a lot of small pertinent details. We're not going to, we kind of covered it. I don't want to go too deep on a sidetrack here. So let us know in the live chat now if you want me to just crank out just some midnight token airdrop details, because people do like free money. That's what I've heard, at least. All right. So Trump ending debanking, very bullish. This is leading to quote unquote real quantitative easing. There's also another exemption that will give banks the green light to exclude treasuries from their leverage limits. That means they can buy unlimited U.S. debt without holding extra capital. It basically is money printing quantitative easing, and it puts Bitcoin on steroids. And so banks are getting one of their biggest regulatory rollbacks since 2008. So pretty big news there. And now we got another federal agency turning bullish on crypto. And this is the U.S. Housing Agency. They may allow crypto assets and mortgage qualifications here. So this is the FHFA, Federal Housing Finance Agency. And they're going to study whether crypto could be considered for mortgage qualification assessments. Now, William Pulte, who was nominated by Trump, said they are examining cryptocurrencies. We will study the usage of crypto holdings as it relates to qualifying for mortgages. Now, until January 23rd, major banks were unable to offer crypto-backed loans or mortgages. This was due to basically SOB 121, which required listing companies to disclose crypto assets on behalf of their clients as liabilities on their balance sheets. Now, it doesn't mean that there wasn't any. It's just, those were going to be specialized companies, probably going to have, pretty high interest rates as well. Often going to be a variable mortgage there. So huge, huge news. This is going to be major, major boom for crypto holdings, because when you look at the whales, they're all linking their Bitcoin and their crypto with their real estate. Just look at the Cardones, what they're doing lately. And so this, to me, is very, very bullish actions. Today's only Tuesday, folks.
Well, and it's also bullish for the long term of what we keep talking about with not having to sell your Bitcoin and being able to acquire assets without actually having to sell the underlying. If you can have Bitcoin, and now instead of having to sell that, cash it in and buy the house, you can get a loan. You can take a loan against your Bitcoin as collateral. That's going to prevent that's going to be a lot less selling. People will just hold this Bitcoin forever, get credit against it, buy another asset, use that asset to pay the loan back, etc. And so it's gonna the floodgates that are gonna open up now. This is slow, and you guys have been hearing me say this, and that's why I've been freaking out over this really boring political stuff, over accounting rules that they're changing with banks, over this Stablecoin Act, and everybody's so confused as to why we're so bullish on stable coins. But it really is opening up the floodgates that, again, for the next decade, they're just going to be flooding into this, and the that chart we showed of the trillions and trillions of dollars in the bond market and the trillions and trillions of dollars in the real estate market and the securities market is all going to be flooding into Bitcoin.
But the Democrats are trying to end that, TJ, with the important asterisk.
Yeah.
Only if the president drops it. Democrat senator introducing a bill to address Trump's crypto ties. This Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff is what I like to call him, and 9 other Democrat lawmakers got legislation with and they want to prevent what they call financial exploitation of digital assets. And so this is, as usual, they got a little antonym here: crypto officials' income and non-disclosure, or the Coin Act. How do we let's judge that? Is that good? Do we give that a 6 out of 10 or higher? Curbing officials' income and non-disclosure. I think they could have done a little bit better for coin. But this is going to be in response to Trump's connections to the crypto industry. This legislation followed his disclosure of $57 million in income tied to World Liberty Financial. Now, Schiff's bill could extend a prohibition on issuing, sponsoring, or endorsing the following: cryptocurrencies, meme coins, NFTs, and stable coins. Let's see, 6 months prior and 2 years after an individual's time in office. So how do we feel about that? Is Trump going to get more charges, Josh?
More charges?
Like the 34 felonies for writing a check to Stormy Daniels through his
I
lawyer.
doubt it, dude. He's president now. It's ridiculous. That's just ridiculous. The president's not going to get charged. Do you think so?
I don't think he'll be convicted of anything, but I mean, the man got a mugshot, so who knows? You know, it's a hard prediction.
I bet I came into that question late. So I'm doing the research on the Jerome Powell speech right now live. And it does look like, I mean, this is so politically motivated, in my opinion, at this point. Jerome Powell just came out and said that they are not cutting rates because forecasts show a meaningful increase in inflation this year. But this is in response to let me pull it up right here. If you guys didn't know, again, this is happening live. It seems that Trump believes that the interest rate should be 25 to 50 basis points below where they are today. He did an insane tweet last night saying, too late. Jerome Powell of the Fed will be in Congress today in order to explain, among other things, why he is refusing to lower the rate. Europe has had 10 cuts. We have had 0. No inflation, great economy. We should at least be 2 or 3 points lower, and that would save the United States $800 billion per year. Plus, what a difference this would make. If things later change to the negative, increase the rate. I hope Congress really works this very dumb, hard-headed person over. We will be paying for his incompetence for many years to come. The board should activate Make America Great Again. Now, this is interesting because, I mean, I agree completely with Trump here. Jerome Powell, you guys have been here with me every single episode that we have watched the FOMC for like the last 4 years. He always has came out and said that he is data-driven and that he's going to wait for the data to suggest before they move. They're not going to try to make any predictions. They're not going to be based off forecasts. They're going to look at the data. They were reactive, not proactive to the market. They always have, and they were supposed to always be kind of in this scenario. For the first time, even though inflation's now approaching that 2% level, inflation costs have drived way down. Market is in the economy's in a strong place. He is now saying, I am going to wait for the predictions because there is forecasts out there saying inflation is going to come back. So he has completely flipped. He went from saying we're going to be basing our decisions off the data that comes in to now they're basing decisions off forecasts on data that's to come. And that is very either politically motivated or Jerome Powell decided to just go against everything he has said he's believed in the last 2 years here with inflation. So interesting to watch.
Yeah. Now, you did allude to a video. It does look like there's an expose on some of the federal employees saying, yeah, his actions have been politically motivated for sure, though.
Do you have the O'Keefe video?
No, I do have Jerome Powell here with a bowl of burnt rice. Do you know why?
No, what happened?
He cooks his minute rice for an hour. He's just too late, man. He's just always late. He doesn't do it soon enough. He didn't hit stop soon enough. So that's just him in a nutshell, folks, if you were wondering.
You got me. I think it's this one right here. I see Visa. I'm going to pull it up here. For you guys that know James O'Keefe, he's done quite a few exposés. I'd say watch these with, skepticism, but he did just leak a video of them at a dinner, and this isn't him yet. I got to pick it up here.
While you're pulling that up, we did have the super chat that came in.
So I'm gonna go into the details. There's actually a claim page, and it goes into all the details. If you have it self-custodied through a wallet, you should be good. And I'll check the details on Yori, which is one of the older Cardano wallets. I believe you're in the clear. There is a breakdown of like 8 or 10 of the most popular Cardano wallets, and the different types of whether or not they qualify. I think you're going to be in the green though. If anything adds a wrinkle, it's going to be the Ledger angle.
Oh.
But Ledger did give the Flare airdrop to the XRP holders. So I think we're going to be in the green here. But speaking of being in the green, Metaplanet think they'd be in the green after injecting $5 billion into their Bitcoin buying strategy. The stock is down, by the way. So their board of directors approved a capital injection of up to $5 billion in a bid to speed up its Bitcoin acquisition strategy. Now, this Japanese hotel company did set up its Florida subsidiary on May 1st, and they're aiming at expanding their global Bitcoin treasury operations. Now, however, shares of Metaplanet have fallen 7% lower this morning. And so, the markets have mixed reviews on Metaplanet, but
Well,
to me, the big takeaway is $5 billion.
yeah. Well, and the stock price is down after being on an insane tear too.
Yeah.
So it's like your coin that's up 400% is now down 20%. You don't freak out too much about that 20% pullback. To be expected.
Kelly posted the quote from this expose is Jerome Powell wants to go down in history as not doing what Trump wants.
That's great.
Well, this is breaking news out of the meeting here. Jerome Powell just came out and said, let me zoom in here for you guys. You can take a listen. I don't know if we have actual audio. We definitely don't. President. So all he says right here is the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell says banks are free to conduct crypto activities. That was literally 2 seconds ago. And that is what's resulting here now. I'm sure if you go to the chart, there's quite a bit of a tick up as soon as he said that. So, we might be getting that breakout here. Some people are expecting a Bart Simpson pattern here again. I've been seeing that on X. They're like, man, is this going to be another Bart back down as soon as we see the war continue? But it does look like the market wants to break out here to the upside. We might get a nice push towards the end of this live stream.
Well, I think the market is going to keep moving to the upside. I'm not going to go into the details here, but the NASDAQ futures giving a golden cross near a record high, offering some bullish cues. So golden cross appearing on the daily chart indicates a potential major uptrend. And we do see a lot of correlation between NASDAQ and Bitcoin. It's lessened recently, but there is still a fairly strong correlation. So the stock markets are giving signals. We're about to enter a new bullish phase. Bitcoin typically follows. But now let's do the fun story here. The ghost of XRP. Have you heard of this guy, Josh? Not the ghost of Kiev, which was fake. Ghost of XRP.
The ghost of XRP.
His name is Arthur Brito. The Ripple ghost just broke 14 years of silence. Now, before we get into it, you have no idea how big this was. Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong thing. For those who are unaware, one of the original architects of the XRP ledger just tweeted for the first time since helping launch in 2012. There are no public photos or public interviews. He's known to be very private. This is akin to Satoshi resurfacing after a decade of being MIA. Now, I don't know if I go that far, but let's see here. So Arthur Brito made his first public post since helping create XRP in 2011. He posted for the first time since creating the account back then, sharing in a face of an emoji without a mouth. You can see there's his post right there. David Schwartz did confirm that his account was not a hack or a compromise, probably confirming that he's in talks with him. Now, alongside Schwartz and Jed McCaleb, the founder of Mt. Gox, Brito created the XRP ledger back in 2012, and then later helped add the blockchain's token XRP. Now, he's best known for being a ghost. There are no verified photos of him. He's never given an interview or a public statement, not counting this emoji post, and seemingly tries his best to stay out of the limelight. Now, his name does appear in a handful of U.S. court cases, including the SEC's lawsuit against Ripple, but only to mention that he co-created XRP. But he also sued Jed McCaleb back 10 years ago, alleging a breach of contract over McCaleb's founding of XLM, aka Stellar, which he claimed copied Ripple's code. Now, the block reported 6 years ago, Ripple's communication team said his motivation for being private is that management can take its toll, but also he's an introvert and super private and just didn't wish to be a public figure for personal reasons. So is this the XRP Satoshi? TJ, what do you think? Is that a little bit much of a claim?
Yeah, it's definitely a bit much of a claim to be putting him in the category of Satoshi, but sure, is he an anonymous guy? Yeah, he's an anonymous guy. good for him. But definitely wouldn't put him anywhere close to Satoshi.
Is XRP, should it pump or dump? I'm not saying pump major, dump major, but should this make you like XRP more or less now that this guy is coming out of the limelight, Josh?
I mean, he hasn't done anything in the last 14 years.
Could he do harm though more than help it? He could do like a Vitalik, like make communism great again post.
Yeah, that's
a good point by Steve. He said, I'm sure SEC lawsuits had nothing to do with him hiding. LOL. He probably was one of the major beneficiaries of their selling.
Yeah, Trump's
XRP.
been in office, 4 months now?
He's like,
yeah.
it feels safe. I think I see a lot of people come out of the woodworks now. You're gonna see a lot of anonymous individuals or pseudonymous. Like, they're gonna start showing face. It was happening already in Token 2049 this year. There was people that were anonymous that I've been meeting that were like, yeah, I've been in crypto for like 8 years, but I was anonymous up until this point. There's Twitter people that are anonymous that I still, I won't leak, but even they were at the conferences walking around in the groups saying who they are. So it's definitely a complete cultural shift.
Yeah, it's going.
And I
mainstream.
think I see a lot of this happen.
It's just finance. Now, shout out to DeFi Lux in the chat here. By the way, says, "Let's go, Arrow." Thank you all for doing these videos every day. I appreciate all your time and energy you devote to us. We appreciate you, DeFi Lux. Love hanging out with the Disco fam and just making money every day and talking with you guys about what we're learning and how we're doing it. And not going to stop.
And those who weren't aware, 4 days ago, my best altcoin pick, we did an Arrow Dome deep dive. I'm just calling it Arrow Dome henceforth. I referenced
the Iron Dome of crypto. It's going to be that forever.
I referenced Aerodrome when it was nothing but a farting idea. It existed. It was like 20 cents. But the very first time I ever talked about it, I said Aerodome. And so now people, I guess, think I don't know Aerodrome is the real name. So I'm just going to roll with Aerodome.
I like it, Aerodome. Because you got the good dome,
I have the aerodynamically shaped.
You are the Aerodome.
I am the Aerodome.
Yeah.
I should be a speed skater, except I look terrible in a unitard.
It was meant to be.
That's what the businessman in Japan said.
You have to do it now tomorrow. That's what you got to dress with. We'll do what's the Will Ferrell movie?
Blaze of Glory. There you go.
John Heater, aka Napoleon Dynamite. Good movie. Good movie.
So wait, so you guys are saying you guys are gonna do a Blades of Glory? You guys,
Speezy's
ice dancers together.
We'll be we'll dance into the episode.
I'll stage a Nancy Kerrigan. You could be you could be Tanya, okay, in that scenario. I'll stage that before I hit the ice skates.
Okay.
All right, well there you go. You guys next Halloween. Next Halloween. Yeah.
I like Napoleon Dynamite too. Vote for Pedro. And then you'll be an ICE agent.
Yeah. I should make fun of Nancy Kerrigan having her dreams shattered and taken away from her. She cried in pain after being hit by the bodyguard of Tanya Harding. Crazy story there, but you're a little young for that.
That's definitely.
You saw the biopic, right?
For that one, actually.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Young people missed out on a wild time in the 90s where our top two front runners to win the gold medal in the Winter Olympics, the second place attacked the first place with her boyfriend's bodyguard's metal baton.
Oh, I do know. I have heard about this.
Messed up. Yeah. It was like right after they skated together and she won.
Didn't she actually hurt her too?
Yeah, definitely hurt her. Took her out.
Yeah. I shouldn't laugh at it. I don't know why I'm laughing at it. It's
terrible.
Up.
It's like our version of that is the girl that on the track that took the baton and smacked her in the back of the head. And
I was passing it, guys.
I was passing. It was an accident.
That's how I pass batons.
She hatcheted.
You know what this is? This is the Disco fam smashing the like button, everybody. So if you go ahead and smash the like button,
we do got the Led Zeppelin on today.
Sidetrack we took there. But let's get back to crypto here. Solana, big news for Solana. Fiserv processes $2 trillion in annual volume, connects 2 million ATMs, and they're launching an internal stablecoin on Solana to reduce payment friction and connect 6 million merchants globally. And so major news here. A lot of people very bullish on this one. I think Marty Party with the take here. You have no idea how big this is. I was on the team that built Fiserv in 05. Our clients controlled most of the flow of liquidity in the Fortune 500. They've begun integrating Solana. It's happening. We built the predecessor of blockchain. Now the infrastructure that runs this massive infrastructure is upgrading to the new network. And so pretty cool stuff there. A lot of the chat I was looking was just people like, yeah, but there's downtime. So I don't know. We'll see. But big news for Solana. Let's roll over to ETH here. ETH, again, I'm not going to get into the boring technical details, but they want to do basically an upgrade to ETH. A developer sent out EIPs proposing 6-second block times to boost speed and slash fees. I guess, do you guys think that ETH is jealous of SWI and Solana's TPS? Is that what's really going on here?
I don't know if they're I think they're jealous of how much of a cleaner code base it is. The main complaint I've heard about Ethereum's code base is it's spaghetti code, and updating and maintaining it is very challenging. And so I think they're jealous of how clean and efficient SWI and Say and some of those are, Solana, because they just had so much more information and technology when they started the project. Kind of knew where they were going a little bit better. So, but
in the L2s, you know, like try to bridge the gap between the L2s, TPS.
yeah, well,
and
that's the thing.
throughput.
All these problems that Ethereum is trying to solve, they are solvable. It's just much more complicated to do it when you're building on top of spaghetti code already. And in trying to solve one problem, you could break something and create more. And so you have to go. It's very cumbersome to go through all of that and make sure you're not breaking anything. Where Solana, Say, SWI, they can adapt much faster. So it's going to be interesting to see how how people integrate with that, because they all have their trade-offs. Like somebody said, the downtime stuff on Solana, I don't think that's going to matter as much as time goes on. It still matters, but for certain applications, it won't matter. Again, think, there's been times when Google hasn't worked. Google doesn't have perfect downtime.
Now, there could be a world where they run their own validators. So during the Trump meme mania, 90% of Solana transactions were failing, except for people running their own validators, aka, Pump Fun wanted to do some on their back end. Their transaction went through. So probably going to be a similar situation. Chat coming in with the funny comments. And WNBA, they basically tackle each other now. So I guess that is our new combat sport.
I didn't ever hear about the WNBA until they started tackling each other. So, it's shout out to them, man. It's getting competitive. People are starting to talk about women's
viewership is at all-time
lot more.
highs. Attendance is all-time highs. So obviously, to me, it seems like a positive overall.
Yeah.
Maybe not Caitlin Clark's health. Isn't that an overall positive there as they keep whacking her? But overall, WNBA.
You're there for our entertainment. That is today's Coliseum. I want to see blood, sweat, and tears on that.
Yeah, it's the
no. It's
Germanic
it's
slaves fighting tigers.
I am letting
against their
everybody
will.
know. I'm gonna put this in a Discord because I'll do this afterwards too. I am entering a bit of a short position on Bitcoin for the $1,000 to $10,000 challenge. I'm gonna share it here in just a moment in the Discord. But I did just enter a trade here, so little 20x trade on $1,000. Again, we're gonna be short in here. And this is going to be just back to the bottom. We're going to play this range. So we're going to go back to about 105K. So we're going to hold this range, see if we could just play into it.
Yeah, that's a range.
But then ultimately we caught there's liquidations below us a little bit. So we're up now just $15 here. Again, you guys are going to see me slowly do this. $1,000 to $10,000 challenge. We're up 15%, or sorry, 1%, but up $16 at this current
Hey,
moment.
man.
So we'll lock in some
How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. And
one bite at a time.
And if you guys want to get in the Discord, the link is in the chat and the description. Hop in there. You'll hear from Josh on his trades, DZ with his members behind the stream stuff, as well as Drew from Blockchain Basement, Kelly, and myself. So all of us are in there giving the alpha all the time.
Yeah, the whole point of this challenge, guys, is this will be the 4th time I have done this. We did it. Technically, it's only the 3rd because the 3rd time we did it in November, it was 3K and we went to like $100,000 almost at the snap of a finger. And that was just, I'm not going to say luck, but that was with the monumental rally we had because of the Trump administration.
with the bullish uptrend.
Yeah, so it was just, I think we went, you guys were there, we saw like a $75,000 win in like one trade. It was just insane, just insane. So I'm not basing it off that. What I want to prove is the power of compounding. And then it's like, I want to prove that trading is about making small plays with low risk, mitigating those decisions. And if you do 2%, for example, if you make a 2% on your $1,000 every single day for, I believe it's 90 days, you'll have around $6,000. If you do it for 180 days, it's $34,000. And the whole perspective there is there's this book called Unshakable by Tony Robbins. Very, very strong book if you want to learn about compounding. But the whole purpose of compounding your money is, again, to mitigate that risk and have a way larger long-term effect. And that's what you see with these trades. It's the people that overtrade. You're chasing 50, 60%.
Don't chase, man.
Yeah, don't ever chase. Like if you're literally just looking to lock in that 2%, you're going to do way better. The problem is we just nobody ever does, right? But if you're actually going to try to focus, mitigate those risks, that's what we're going to show in this challenge here. coming up on Discover Crypto. So come join the Discord, guys.
Love it. Love it. Great stuff there. Now, we do have people loving your shirt as well. Led Zeppelin for the
Led Zeppelin
W.
for the win,
What's
dude.
your favorite Led Zeppelin song? They're all asking.
Do you even have a favorite Led Zeppelin song?
Ramble On. Because it references Lord
That's
of the
very
Rings.
good. That's valid. That's valid. I don't know. I think there's just a lot of inspiration that from Led Zeppelin. Like I just grew up on him a lot. I would have to. I don't
Here's
have a
hot
favorite
take.
song.
Hot take. Journey has better songs than Led Zeppelin.
That's
Ooh.
crazy. That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. You
work,
got
dude.
Highway to
That's
Heaven.
crazy work. You
Stairway
got Highway to Heaven. I
Stairway,
think
sorry.
like is one of
Highway
the
to Heaven.
largest.
That's your hot take, TZ,
That's
or
my
the
hot
chat?
take, man. Journey's got more bangers.
Oh, wow.
You get Stairway to Heaven. You know, you got a couple other ones. Then he's like singing about Gandalf. Then Gandalf. Like, come on, man.
I
I want
mean,
something I could dance on the dance floor. Dude. I want to tap my toes.
I don't know, dude. I think we should be listening to maybe the Immigrant song. I don't know. I like Stairway to Heaven. There's a lot of good songs, but I think like Greta Van Fleet nowadays are like very Led Zeppelin heavy inspired. There's just a lot of good music from that.
All right.
But
Well,
Journey's crazy.
let's listen.
Journey's good though.
Yeah,
They're
Journey's good. Let's listen to some Linkhopium instead, everybody. This is some Linkhopium if I've ever seen some Linkhopium. I'm talking about $1,000 Linkhopium.
Heck yeah.
So you're whining about token unlocks like we don't already know the supply is capped at 1 billion. No surprise, no hidden printing, no rug. Only 320 million left to hit full circulation, and it won't matter. At a $100 billion market cap, remember it hit, I want to say 30 before. Child's play to compare to what's coming. At 100 billion, Link is $100. At $1 trillion market cap, whoa. Now we're talking about $1,000 Link, and this man is smoking something good. At $10 trillion, we reach the fabled singularity, which makes Link $10,000. Some of you still crying over stagnant price action, while smart money front runs you into the next financial paradigm. You're not bearish, you're just bad at math. Stay reasonable, pragmatic, trust what you've seen come to fruition, stack for your future, continue to support the Link community, and educate those who are willing to learn. Enjoy the ride. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and we're lucky enough to witness it. 10 trillion. That's a lot, man. That's more than the whole market cap of silver. Gold, of course, is like 16 trillion or 17, 18 trillion today. That's more than Bitcoin. But I do think we probably see 100 billion in 2025. Is that too crazy, TJ? Am I too insane?
No, not at all. No, I don't.
$100 Link, it'd actually be a little bit more because only 68% of the tokens are out.
You said 100 billion?
Yeah. So, I mean, it'd be more than $100 Link because we don't have 100% of the tokens. I guess 100 billion fully diluted value. You could do that math there. Link's market cap is currently only 9 billion.
Yeah. No, I think we could absolutely see that. I'm looking for
Fully diluted 13.
I'm trying to find that image of all the markets again, because I mean, people
trend line.
I think underestimate
How's about
how
a
much
long
value is
part?
coming in. Here it is. How much value is coming to this market?
You're gonna
And
go with some crazy 40x leverage.
Actually, I was trying to see. Let's go ahead and remove this. Let's go to daily. Are we in a nice little trend line? It looks like we maybe broke down a little bit low, but I like what we're seeing here. We scooped some $11 sub $11 chain link. So, like I said, this is what I was buying during the bloodbath. I don't know if you bought anything during the bloodbath, Josh, but Link was looking like a pretty good target for me.
I mean, like I really, this has really been sitting with me.
Was what I was watching today.
These bonds and this real estate, these big boxes are going to start to fit into this tiny little box right here. And Chainlink is going to be the thing that connects all of these boxes together, and so
Good way of describing it.
I mean, there's going to be such a huge amount of value that's coming that it's going to take some time. That's what I keep saying. And it's not going to be by the end of this year, but by the end of the next 10 years, I'm really starting to come to all you do is sit here and do nothing and accumulate, and you're going to get insanely rich. Accumulate Bitcoin. Again, that's why I keep going. Bitcoin, Arrow, Aave, Chainlink. Like all my money recently has been pouring into those 4 projects. And realistically, you could argue maybe Cardano with some Bitcoin DeFi, but it's this right here. Look, money, $120 trillion. All of that needs to fit in the Bitcoin box. Bonds, a big part of that is going to fit in the Bitcoin box. Real estate, a big part of that. We just covered a story. Real estate loans being backed by digital assets. So the biggest boxes are all going to have to start to squeeze in that tiny box. Equities, that's securities, that's the stock market. That's
You're
Hondo.
enraging the XRP community now, though.
I've been doing that for almost a decade at this point. So it's just the way the tidal wave of money is coming in at a rate so much faster than I think people believe. $900 trillion. And for people to say that they don't think something can hit 100 billion, like that thing that you're saying can't hit 100 billion probably has the capability of hitting 10 trillion. Now, it's not a guarantee that it will, but it absolutely can. And I would not be shocked to see that play out over the next 10 years.
Y'all ready for from link hopium to logarithmic hopium?
Yes.
All right. We love the log charts for the bull targets here. This is the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin. So this is everything except Bitcoin. And every single cycle, we consolidate and then we blast off, consolidate, blast off, consolidate, blast off. And right now we're in the middle of a consolidation pattern. What is the next move going to look like? This has some very, very bullish targets. So keep an eye out on that. I think this came from Wrecked Fencer. It's pretty clear the vast majority is completely oblivious to this altcoin chart. You have no idea how crazy this is going to get. This is a log chart, but I still agree with the sentiment. Things are going to get crazy. And I think if you need proof of that, all you got to do is go to CoinGecko and then just sort by top gainers 24 hours. Say's up 37%, SPX 26%, Injective Virtual 17, 19. You can see the altcoins leading the charge right now, and they'll lead the charge to the downside, but they'll also lead the charge to the upside. And during a alt season, there's a lot more upside days than there are downside days. So that's our prediction, and we're sticking to it here, folks.
Interesting. Mikhail says, look at the total 3 chart. It hit the 2024 support. Maybe, I don't know if we want to do it right now or just save it for another video. But so not all 3. Total.
Said it hit what?
The March 2024 support.
This is the same thing, essentially, only throw ETH into the mix.
That's what it came right down to.
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, it bounced literally off of it. That was massive support there. Which it blew below back in April this year. Just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, showing this is some strong support. It's really good. And then in that range we're in is now up to 1.13. So it's really going to be just dependent on these ranges we've been watching. Ethereum, same thing. Ethereum trying to break back into this range as well. That we traded very, very long. Ethereum's looking like a straight up Wyckoff method. Ethereum's looking like it's gonna pretty much, which a Wyckoff, if you guys haven't seen, let me show you guys what this will look like. This is what a lot of traders, some of my favorite traders use this method all the time. But essentially, this right here is called a spring, and it just the massive, massive bear trap and allows the price to now kind of enter back up towards that $2,600 range before ultimately breaking higher. So usually it's a reversal indicator on the charts, and you guys got to kind of go look through the formations, look at the change of characters, look at all the different reasons on why this looks to happen and why it wants to rotate through the upside. But this was a very interesting pattern to see if it plays out, because it was very effective in 2021. It's based off a lot of manipulation. So maybe we'll have to do a deep dive into that Wyckoff reaccumulation level and what that would look like, because I think the price target is upwards of $3,800 is going to be the next range for people that are trading that Wyckoff range. So interesting to watch there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And you can see I kind of put up just an example right here. We're loading up. We hit the spring. We hit that and go back to Josh. So did we do the spring move right here? Yeah, that looks like the spring right there. So all right, well, something to keep pay attention to, folks. So watch that. Now, I do have the breakdown of the midnight tokenomics. So it looks like the chat, you in favor of an ADA midnight video. I still see people asking questions, like, well, what if I have it on Coinbase? You did need a self-custody. Unfortunately, just staking within Coinbase isn't going to be enough. But I'll do the big detailed deep dive. So if you do have a wallet, you do have some of these 8 coins on different wallets, I'll do the entire breakdown for you, folks. So do I get free money? I will answer that question. Josh, you got anything you want to reveal that you're working on?
Going to be working on just a lot more overlays, sound effects, stuff like that for the call-in show. I want to master that thing that we'll be doing a few times a week now. It's going to be very, very exciting, and it was really fun to get to actually see a bunch of people from the community. Some people listen to us at the gym, some people driving home, some people like calling from all over was really cool. But I'll be working on a few different videos. I'm workshopping right now a Chainlink video with the MasterCard partnership of not again, but that one just released. That was huge. But maybe some updates on Jerome Powell, projections on, when we're going to actually get that interest rate cut. And we'll see. It'll be a surprise, guys. So make sure you guys hit that like button, turn on those notifications, and come join the Discord. That's definitely what I'm going to be doing right now is making sure that we follow the calls here in the Discord for the $1,000 to $10,000 challenge here, guys. So thank you for watching.
We just wanted to take a quick second to shout out our sponsor, Arculus. They are a cold storage hardware wallet, helps you secure all of your digital assets for the future. Just tap this thing to the back of your phone and boom, you're in. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but also wouldn't be able to do this without you guys, the Disco fam. You've supported us a lot over the years. If you want to support the channel now, just use the code DC20. It gets you 20% off this card. It's the #1 way you can support this channel going forward. Thank you for your support. We'll see you at the top.